Blue Pros player from Genesis Gaming. It is PiLiPiLi.
And in the bottom right side, we're looking at the main base of the American Terran player that never gives us a boring best of 3, and the first SCVs are already leaving. The boys are out of town. This is Future. Why does really have a flag of Ireland hanging up behind him?
I don't know, I was thinking, I feel like this is a different room that PiLiPiLi usually plays in, so I was already kind of confused, to be honest. Unless I just have really bad memories from yesterday.
I have to admit that I was in bed yesterday, Waddy, when you were doing NA. I watched a little bit, I watched Clement play. I mean, that's the guy that everyone's talking about. I need to see why they're talking about him, so... Watched the Clan vs. Drogo series and caught bits and pieces of the other European series. Didn't see too much of NA last night. Did open the Wikipedia though when I woke up. I was like, let's see, Waddy, what did I miss?
Well, you missed some PiLiPiLi PvP. It was fun, man. They proxied the hell out of each other. So, yeah, it was pretty good. NA last night was actually pretty enjoyable. We had some crazy games, and maybe this one will be a bit crazy too. Proxy 2 racks Marine on the start. PiLi is scouting the wrong way with the probe in the upper right if he wants to actually try and figure out what's going on here.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Scouted everything. Oh, wait, what? He's gonna take a Nexus. Welcome to NA, baby. As Future is gonna build a bunker in the natural, he's now gonna take a look. I feel like what Future needs to do is just get into that main base, because now you can see there's no shield battery, and it would be a shame not to try to take a little fight with our Marines against a Zealot Wardy, a guy that can't even shoot from afar.
Yeah, I mean, the Zealot's gonna come to the Marines, as 3 of them will split up a little bit, and the Zealot maybe didn't need to come this far forward. Marine's gonna jump in the bunker, hop out to get a little bit of a jump, and that Zealot will go down. Now Marines will run forward, and they will show up on top of that Stalker gas steel on the other side of the map as well. And you're going to be seeing these Marines. Well, another one shows up. Probes are pulled. Stalker's obviously going to be able to fight. And 2 probes go down, and, well, yeah, North America, man. Well.
All right, so 2.5 minutes in, guys. We have a hidden Nexus in the top right side, a bunker in the natural of the Protoss, and Protoss assimilator in the main base of the Terran, and 4 probes going down. And a Zealot running down the ramp fighting 3 Marines and an SCV and a bunker. I love it.
Yeah, just waiting for the Roddy analysis on all of this. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. I mean, obviously it's great that PiLi has the Nexus out on the map, because if Future believes he's keeping PiLi on one base here, he might play this very differently to how he's meant to play this. And that would be a shame. Because he hits the main.
Yeah, the Stalkers walk past the bunker, and Future's like, cool, mate, then I'll run into the main base. I absolutely love this. What a proper clown fiesta. This is actually dealing a lot of damage. A lot of lost mining time, and we grabbed 2 additional probes there.
It's also the main base that has no probes in it, because they all recall that. So, I know he killed a few, but it also tells Future, hey, there's probably a base out there. So now he's actually going to start scouting and trying to figure out where PiLi's base is. And it can't possibly be a good thing to have one base in the top left and another in the top right.
Especially now when you won't have Blink for the upcoming 2 minutes. Yes, Future is going to drop that expand. I'm actually kind of sad that he drops that command center in range of the assimilator, Wardy. I mean, you can say, sure, it's not a big deal because Terran players are always going to expand, but if I'm a Protoss and I play a weird game like this, I'm always still paranoid they do something wild at one base. And that's something you have to keep in the back of your mind. Now we just kind of revealed the fact that we are expanding, because it's not like PiLi was going to have any eyes in the main base of Future anytime soon, right? Like, how on earth is he ever going to scout that?
Yeah, no, I don't really know. Honestly, I thought that SCV was going to go see that top right base. No idea, man. This is complete another mayhem. Cyclone's going to find some Stalkers. Everyone disengages from each other. And we're going to be seeing this Stalker down. Trying to get the Cyclone, loses a Stalker. The other one is beaten up quite badly.
Yeah, without Blink, it's going to be very hard to keep these Stalkers alive. What a weird game. Yeah, it's indeed a bit... I mean, at this point, Future has to know there is a hidden base. Like, not only did he see that there weren't that many probes in the main base to begin with. I mean, I know you killed a couple of workers. All right, there we go. He's sending out Billy, the great Marine Explorer, that could potentially find it. And even if it doesn't, the fact that this scout is going to get denied, I think that's already a fact that something is, you know, being built in the top right side.
Yeah, absolutely. This Marine is going to finally confirm itself. Now what do you do about this is future? Like, how do you approach this base being here? I think you just wait for stim, and then you kind of just start dropping a couple different places, right? That's when you can really start splitting up and punishing them.
Yeah, I like that idea. Why don't we just wait for Steam and... Oh, is he going to send units out now? Hopefully not. Hopefully that's just to secure his natural. I'd say we just wait until we have Steam. I want to say we wait until we have 2 medevac. Oh, okay, he's not going to wait on anything, buddy. He's going to move out because he doesn't have a starport yet. There we go. There's the starport.
Yep, starport is finally going to come on through. I mean, Stalker's doing a pretty good job, and I don't think Future can make his way anywhere near to the top right-hand side.
No, he really shouldn't do that. Because, I mean, there's a battery there too. He knows there is a battery, and obviously there are pylons, so PiLiPiLi can get reinforcements immediately. I think what Future should do is just wait until he gets a proper army. Then you send 8 Marines via the bottom left side into the main base. They create a little bit of chaos, and then you attack with your main army the top right side. That seems like a nice game plan.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of on board with it as well. I think that's the right way to do it is mostly these Stalkers, trying to at least hold these units, trying to keep track of where they are as well, make sure they don't... It's weird because you usually stand them in the middle is fine, but now of course you've got to stop them getting to the upper right as well, so trying to keep them centralized to just keep an eye on them all together.
I love how there is still a barracks floating in the main base of PiLiPiLi too. This is the most normal thing in the world, 7 minutes in. Billy's like, oh yeah, this happens like 1 out of 3 letter games, no biggie.
Pretty typical. I mean, Zergs have overhauls, why wouldn't the Terran have 5 barracks?
Well, next time I'll build a void ray to take care of that, but I'll let it slide for now. And this game is just wild, and I still don't hate it for Future. As long as he just waits until he has enough units. This is the same old dilemma where I feel like if you move out too soon as a Terran, especially when you don't have any Widow Mines, but you've got tanks, and the bio ball is not big enough, you're gonna get swarmed by Protoss units. It really doesn't hurt that much to wait for a minute, even though you may feel that you're falling too far behind economically. It's not the case. Protoss players need to trade out these kinds of armies. Otherwise, you know, Zealots without any upgrades. Like, the only way that a Protoss could ever play a game like this is if they would have double forward spinning and they are working on a 2 upgrade advantage. Then they can do this. Stalkers have already blinked and Future knows it, so he feels like this is the moment to go forward with a couple of his bio units, but Billy's like, no, it's my time to go forward, so he blinks into the bio units, and I don't know what I'm watching. What?
No, me neither. I mean, it feels like Billy is really wanting to be aggressive, but does he need to be? No. Not really in particular, right? Yes, if he just
I can understand. Yeah, I can maybe understand that he's very worried that if this turns into a normal macro game, that it's going to be impossible to defend all the bases, like you said before. That's just not something that you're comfortable with. I think if he would have tried to tack up sooner, then he would definitely not think about it. But he was kind of stuck on the gateway units for a little while, and he's only working off a single forge. So it seems like he's thinking of hitting a +1 armor timing. A little bit of multi-prong here, dropping a couple zealots. The Darksrun is finishing up too, though.
Yeah, a little bit of extra harassment potential as he is going to come in with some zealots onto this map. So, I mean, I don't know how much I like this one. Future is quite literally just out of the base, but hey, it's a lot of units that move back to deal with it. Now Billy's going to use this as a chance to move forward here. Runs into a chunk with Widow Mines on. All of his zealots take so much damage. This tank will go down, but the bio units, I say, I thought the tank was going to go down. Shocked that Billy hasn't target fired that. This did not work out. I mean, the Zealot's still in the main mode, so I guess there's still something to be had with this.
Yeah, that's the one thing that has been working out. The Zealots in the main base, they've been picking up a couple of add-ons. Careful with that tank! The tank is dealing more SC2 damage than the Zealots have. Actually, he gets on top of that command center that was morphing into an orbital, so Future is forced to cancel that. We're gonna blink forward, so we do finally get the tank, and PiLiPiLi is still sitting on quite some money during all of this. I mean, the longer this goes on, the better it is. Now we're warping in DTs, losing the Prism here. It would be bad, but he keeps it alive. If he spends his money, Wardy, it was maybe a successful attack after all.
Yeah, I feel like my problem now is he wants another round of units into the main. I know he's still got Stalkers on the third, but it feels like he's never going to grow a proper army doing all of this. I know he's still into Warfare, and that Widow Line goes off, doesn't do too much. It just feels like if Future can break out of this, now's the time where he would hit that top right base until he's going to have a really tough time holding on against it. Because he's going to start slicing.
Yep, no scans available. I mean, now it really hurts that we were forced to cancel that one on Morphin Orbital back into the command center to save it. Is that Warp Prism ever going to go down? That's what I wonder about at this point. Yes, it is. This Zealot Warp Prism was not a good one, Marty. I'm definitely with you on that one. But PiLiPiLi is going to try to find some more success with his Stalkers. At least takes out the turret. It makes it harder for Future to move out. And look at how overstimmed that army is of Future.
Yeah, that's very true. These Medivacs are going to have no energy for the foreseeable future. This wall was just... I actually didn't really like it initially for PiLiPiLi, but I feel like it went on so long that now I don't really like it for Future. It took him so long to finally clean this up and shut it down. These Stalkers kind of actually walk back into the bio, but in the end blinks back and it's another used up stim. I mean, you just can't afford those stims at this point. Your units are basically killing themselves.
Yep. By the time that Future will be able to truly fight the army of PiLiPiLi, that's when PiLiPiLi is going to have better upgrades and he's going to have multiple Colossus out. Thermal Lens is finishing up too. I mean, it's 3 Colossi at this point. That's actually really big. Well done by PiLiPiLi. I think it's the Dark Templars why they just really turned the tide of that entire attack. At first, I wasn't feeling it. The Zealots weren't exactly getting the job done. It's just the moment we started warping in the occasional DP, that's where he really started to find a lot of damage. I mean, Future even being forced to cancel that one command center that was morphing into an orbital meant he had even less scans to work with. I mean, the barracks is still alive in the main base, so we got that going for ourselves.
Yeah, at least he knows exactly what's popping out of that robo facility, man. And, you know, compared to an overall, maybe it's just like an observer. It's just like cloaked up, watching all the text go on. Look at my Colossi up his ramp. Wouldn't going to fire on for the first few Zealots. PiLiPiLi wants to keep on fighting. I honestly don't blame him. I mean, Colossi against no answer Colossi, and especially when the barriers are already such low HP. GG, very well played by PiLiPiLi. I'm impressed, man.
Yeah, I mean, very wild game. I feel like these are not necessarily the kind of games that you practice very often where you're like, oh yeah, I take the top right and then I'm just in your face all the time with the Stalkers. A lot of things happen in this game, but in the end, I think it's the Dark Shrine that Future was truly not aware of that made his life so hard. He was ready for Zealots, he was ready for Stalkers. It's just that the moment DT started running Rampage in the main and we had no scans to work with, I think that's kind of where it all started to go downhill real quick.
Yeah, no, I'm with you as well. It was definitely I really just didn't, like I said, didn't like it initially. Just it went on for so long. Eventually, you know, it adds up, and then the Colossi. I mean, he had time to build 3 Colossi behind it. That's how long that attack was going on for, right? Yeah, like when you think about it like that, it's like, oh man, this really did do a lot. And in a way, I feel like it shouldn't have done. Like Future was at the front with his army. He chased everything back to deal with the first round of Zealots, and that's what allowed him to always then be ping-ponging rather than just being like, oh, clean up the Zealots, clean up the Stalkers, easy does it. You know, it's a win. So,
if he would have just one time kept 8 or 10 bio units near that tank, then he would have been able to just get the 3 base setup up and running a lot easier. And then I think this all would have been a lot better for him. You know how long that went on, Buddy? Like, we attacked when +1 armor finished up, but by the time it was done, +1 attack was done. So we were attacking and dropping Zealots. Yeah, for an entire upgrade. That's pretty impressive.
That is impressive. Is that, do you reckon that's the longest attack of the tournament so far?
Now I wonder, was that an 0-1 timing or a 1-1 timing?
Maybe that's the rare 0.15 timing or something, or 1.5 timing. You know, it's half and half.
No, very well done. And yeah, even the first time, right, when we sent our entire army to deal with that War Prism that was flying into the natural and then into the main base, if he would have left just a few units to protect all those Widow mines and then he had 2 more mines being rallied in, if those mines would have burrowed too, I think that's actually a fun scenario. Like if you really die hard about StarCraft 2, you take that replay and then you resume that from replay a couple of times to work on your defenses. And I really think that if Future goes through the motions there a couple times, you know, on one of his off days where he wants to practice a little bit, I think he can handle that so much better in the future.
Yeah, for sure. As PiLiPiLi with that 1-0 lead, we're going into Oxide for map number 2. So one of the maps the Terrans do like to play on. See what PiLiPiLi has planned for us here. Don't put it out of the scope of, you know, out of possibility that PiLiPiLi, you know, gets a bit more aggressive himself. Obviously, Future 2 racks is early this game, but maybe PiLiPiLi could bring a second gateway proxied up or something along those lines. I haven't really seen a lot of PiLiPiLi's PvT, to be honest with you, already, but it's just the kind of guy he strikes me as, you know.
I've got no idea what to expect. If you would have told me that game 1 was going to open like 3 minutes in. I said a lot of things that I've never said before, and I've been casting for 11 years, Waddy. So I don't know what to expect. I don't think the future is going to open up with a two racks, because it's not very good on this map, because there is, of course, a little ramp going into the natural. But anything else is completely possible.
All right, well, let's see what goes down. We're going to start in the bottom left with the Blue Protoss, who is up 1-0. PiLiPiLi.
And in the top right side of Oxide, we're looking in the main base of the American Terran player. He's down 0-1. See if he can bring it back. Representing Alpha X, it is Future.
Well, the SCVs are at home.
I was looking at their webcams. Seems like Future was spamming some camera hotkeys. You can see that he set them up. And then you can see when he's taking a look at the location that he hasn't scouted yet, because the screen gets very dark. And I'm still wondering what the hell PiLiPiLi is doing with a flag of iron. Because Ren is, I believe, born in Kazakhstan, but moved to America a long time ago. I believe he currently has a US passport too. Living in California, rocking a flag of Ireland. I mean,
Bit of a mix.
it's all over the place, mate.
Bit of everything there is hoping SCV have an argument on the low ground. And we started with expansions. Future was always very much so like a very aggressive two-base play. Do you think that's something we might see out of him this game, if this does just end up being standard expansions for the start?
Yeah. You know, one of the highlights I had, and I think this was during a TSL qualifier, I barely missed, you know, those moments when you cast the Open Cups. You know, I wrapped up a series on Europe, and instead of running back to NA immediately, I talked over the games a little bit. I was like, all right, let's go back to NA and see what's happening. And I was like, oh, Future and Scarlet just started that game on Blackburn. I was like, oh, it's no biggie, guys. We'll just hop into game 2. Turned into a 35-minute game. You know how that goes. And you're just sitting there waiting for it to finish. And as the game is over, Future wrote XD is like, well, that's my one macro game for 2021. So I think there is a good chance that he's going to be a bit aggressive.
Yeah. I mean, I guess when you build the factory in the opponent's main base, that kind of counts. What is that?
I wasn't even paying attention to that, Waddy, because I was thinking back of that crazy game Future and Scarlet had. He's building. He's not even flying.
Yeah.
Dude, okay. I want to go Ultra NA. I want to build it in his main, but then fly it to the low ground.
Oh my god, it's perfect because Billy scouts the low ground.
Now you fly it to the low ground, and then he checks the corner of his main, and he's got no idea there's a factory in your side of the map. Oh my god, he's getting an armory. This is sick, actually, by Future. Because these mines are going to be permanently cloaked, and they're going to be the quickest permanently cloaked mines of all time. My goodness, I have missed casting NA StarCraft. This is going to own, man. This is going to own so hard. If I'm Pili, I'm out of here. The moment I see the first mine with cloak.
I really thought yesterday's games were fun, but actually today is bringing us to a whole new level here in North America. Robo facility down. It's on the way, but still a little while off getting detection, of course, so Pili will be in some trouble for a while. I mean, Widow Mines are about to come forward, 2 of them, and they can cloak.
It is really good news that he already built the robe. Okay, he's sending out a probe forward, so now Pili knows. He's like, whoa, you've got mines? Yep, we've got mines, and these are permanently cloaked mines too. Wow, a really sick split up. And the other one fired at a probe that went into the simulator. Are you kidding me? The mines, 2 mines fired, and they killed 1 probe. Hello?
Yep, that's pretty much as good as we get from the Protoss. That's split. It looks as though he's going to lose a chunk of probes as well, but split at the last moment too, so really minimizing the damage taken. And now, well, just has to keep on pulling back. This is where the damage will come no matter what, right? Just being forced to pull these probes a second time. And hopefully this time these little mines can connect. And 2, 4. Nice. A little better this time.
Yep, and look at the amount of lost mining time, of course. Now there is an observer out, and that means that PiLiPiLi will be able to clean this up. I gotta say, he handled that quite well. I actually would have loved it for the Marines to run into the natural now. Future already had the Marines on the other side of the map, just to see if PiLiPiLi went up to 3 bases and he could cancel a Nexus. But the moment you've got 3 or 4 mines in the main base of the Protoss, they need all their units there to clean them up in time, because you cannot really just let one stalker clean it up, because then they're gonna fire again. I feel like that was an absolutely picture perfect moment to run the Marines in the natural and create a proper amount of chaos.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool to see if he could pull it off. As the Warp Prism's on the way up, so Pili is going to get aggressive himself now. With this blink, he does have 4 gateways. And it's going to be the real test. I mean, there's a lot of Marines, so I don't think Future should be in trouble. But maybe if Pili can force those units to move around well enough, maybe he has some opportunities.
The more I think about it, the more sad I am, because my Future would really be able to stick around for a long time. I mean, it's a hard call to make, and of course he doesn't see what we see. But it really would have worked out, because imagine if Pili grabs all 20 pros from the natural, sends them to the main, and then one of the mines fires again. Wouldn't that have been cool?
Not if you're a Protoss playing. So do they come in and they have bunker. He's just about got the firepower to take it down, and he will get out, so he gives up one of the defensive positions. I mean, you're really under time. At the moment, Stim is done. The Observer goes down as well. Well, this attack's just done then. He has no high ground vision. I guess he's got the Prism still, but against this amount of bio, Stim about to be done. Don't think we're going to get anywhere. He even kills the Stalker already.
I love this defense by Future so far. Obviously, it sucks that we lost the bunker, but that's normally where Terran players get very indecisive and they run too far back or too far forward. I feel like the unit positioning there on the side of our American Terran was absolutely perfect.
Yep, very well handled as this Prism comes along. He's going to get the blink up into the main base, and we do see a reactor going down already. Now the tech lab, Hursup job's being denied as the bio units stim in though, and he got a pretty good amount of stalks.
No! And even that Prism took a lot of extra unnecessary shots there. Yeah, PiLiPiLi's in a world of trouble in game 2, but it also felt that at one point he was in a bit of trouble in game 1. And he won that one convincingly in the end, so let's see if we can turn this around. Just don't see many ways to buy time. I mean, Blink Stalkers are a great way to buy time. But if with the previous blink we already lost 6 Stalkers, I don't think you want to blink into the Terran main again.
No, I don't think you really do either. I think you just don't have the numbers to really make anything happen anymore. So, thanks it up. Their Nexus is finishing. We've got Charge about to be done as well. Obviously, he's quite behind on upgrades, so that's one of the benefits that Future will have in this game also. I really feel like the first proper push of Future is going to be terrifying, but his medevac count is just non-existent. One medevac flies out, he's building only one medevac at a time.
You know what I'm shocked by? Is that Pili puts those observers so close to the missile turret, but it's barely out of detection range. I could have sworn that would have been in range. The Future seems to be pretty good at finding them, and well, we need to kill it. Uh-oh. Alright, that's it, Waddy. We need to slow down these observers, because I can feel the frustration of the Terran player over here.
Yeah, I'm frustrated just watching this, man. I can't believe it. It's
unbelievable.
Hey, yeah, put them in the main base, so perfect time to come in. SCVs pull out of the main instantly. I love the kill on the react on the starport, because I really feel like the medevac count is an issue in this game. We're going to slow that down a little bit. Marines do drop in the main base of Pili, though, so Pili's going to have some issues of his own, and now these Zealots are trying to get cleaned up.
Great move by Future, but now I don't want to see him give up with the rest of his army, because that is still a very scary army. You can see that this is getting the best of PiLiPiLi too, as he forgets about his War Prism. That means that Future can now rally everything to the other side of the map, and he's going to go for one of his YOLO teams. Picks up the sentry. Yes, he does at the very last moment. Unpowers the gateways and the robo and the overcharged battery. And now he can actually use this choke point against PiLiPiLi. Well done, Future. This is a really cool move.
Oh my god, the Immortals are so disgusted they just turned around and walked away. Does Blink can get the medevac at the end, though. I mean, actually not a bad cleanup at the end from Pili, right?
No, not at all. It felt like that was as good as it ever could have been. What I would have loved to see from Future is that he should have put a Marauder. Yeah, then again, if you put a Marauder in the front, the Immortals kill it easily. But no, you're spot on. Really good cleanup in the end there.
Yeah, no, I can't believe. I couldn't believe Pili, like, he walked his Immortals away from the fire. It's like, well, you've got to get any damage you can onto this army. And still went well.
And there is another one that's rallying straight into the natural. Oh.
No.
I mean, now you should just fly it into the mineral line and pretend it's a mine drop.
Another medevac going down. Like I said, his medevac count initially was not exactly great either, because he was just on the current date reactor on the starport. So every medevac you lose, and I really worry about it. I mean, right now, we are at one medevac on the map, and it's with that little drop.
Yep. Imagine if he had 3 medevacs when he went into that natural there. I think then that army won't get cleaned up as easily as it did. So Black Future is very good at spotting observers. It's one thing that I can see that he truly excels at. But he's in a bit of trouble here. Like, technically, he's got a better army. Is there an observer in the mix? Yes, there is another one. That's very unfortunate for Future. Oh, I love this by PiLiPiLi, but I also love the unburrowed there by Future. Anything to really buy time. But there is a lot of Zealots running into the natural, and they grab 2 Widow mines. And those are 2 mines that really should have fired.
Really set up as though he wanted to jump on that fight, and now he is going to go for it despite the Guardian Shield being gone. Zealot's taking a chunk of damage. There's a bunker here as well. Billy trying to be cautious. He's killed a lot of SCVs over on that natural, and the Zealots starting to wrap around Marauders. God, there's just not the damage output to get rid of these Zealots. Even with the 2-1 upgrades in favor of Future, maybe he can just turn this around with the SCV pull. He has got reinforcements showing up now as well. The SCV's coming from the natural as well. And it's a little scary because if Billy gets knocked down, he might not be able to stop this.
Yep, he was also winning the fight in the main base when we can see Future using one of his trademark F2s there. But then he recorrected it immediately, and he's still finding some damage with these Marines. I mean, no, do we kind of like his position, Waddy? As long as he gets a couple medevacs out, that's the only thing that's really missing here. And I feel like with 2-1 and a lot of micro-tension in his army against a Protoss player that does not have Colossus, does not have Storm, this is not that bad for Future, is it?
Dude, never mind 2-1. He's gonna have 3-2 upgrades against 1-1.
What?
Yeah, like his upgrades are just monstrous. And I think actually that is what will win him this game. Because in theory, like the Zealots will just melt. And if the Zealots melt here, Billy's army just really isn't that good, right? Like it relies on the Zealots surviving a long time, especially with EMPs. First one does miss a little bit. So EMPs, mines, and the upgrade lead.
Oh, no, careful. Careful with the ghost. It's funny as well, right? Because I can understand that neither player really knows where they are at in this game. But if Future would see the numbers that we see right now, he would just chill and be like, oh, well, you have to kill me like in the next 20 seconds, otherwise I win this game. Instead, he probably feels that he's still a bit on the ropes, like maybe Protoss is rich, Big Bang, maybe Robo Bay and Colossus on the way. So Future wants to fight. PiLiPiLi is coming in from every angle. Pretty sick engagement, but I think that Future does a really good job in getting out of there, and this is where the upgrade should make the difference, Waddy.
Yeah, and especially with so many results just messing around on the third base. Sure, you kill a whole bunch of SCVs, but you kind of need to fight this army. The force fields are pretty great. I guess upgrades don't matter if your army actually can't get into the fight. Widow mine's trying to fill up. Oh my god, yeah, the orbital goes down. You know what the biggest thing is? What the upgrades matter if you have no health on your units as well, because the medevacs are still out of energy, Ronnie.
Yeah, but the last few Marines, Marauders, and Ghosts is still making the best out of all of this. So even though it looked like Future was dead, he's now still going to clean up. Gets all the Immortals, but he lost the Orbital. If he didn't lose the Orbital there, this would still be totally fine. Once we start losing Orbitals, yeah, then it becomes really hard to hang in there.
Man, here's me saying the Zealots are messing around on the third base, and they actually killed the third base, so maybe it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Those force fields, you were right, by the way. Those force fields were really, really, really good. I hope that Billy is paying attention to his War Prism. That's not something you want to lose. The man barely has any units, and he ends up losing the Prism with 4 Zealots inside of it. Now we're dropping a Templar Archives and a Robo Bay at the same time. I think that's a little bit much, because if Future just attacks with like 20 Marines, doesn't he just win? Like the Marines with a 3 upgrade advantage? Come on.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what we're about to see happening. Force fields try and buy some time. Fight's going to happen up on the third base, perhaps. The SCVs are coming across as well. PiLiPiLi will struggle to get an army up here. I mean, cancel that Robo Bay, get some money back. The Robo Bay is never going to come into this game. There's just no need for it. Zealots are charging headfirst into Widow Mines. He's got, well, half an army here, it feels like. And Future's going to make it happen with the upgrade. Wow.
Absolutely ridiculous game between these two. And I think we are going to get a little more. The SCV surrounded an Archon and actually took it out as the shield battery was out of juice. And PiLiPiLi has just no units left. 4 Zealots, 2 Stalkers, 1 Sentry. No way that that's ever going to cut it. All the probes will fall. And this is the most amount of medevacs Future has had all game.
It actually is. And we actually have energy for once as well. So feels pretty good. That upgrade that's built needed that like 5 minutes ago, I think, at this stage. The upgrades were such a key part of this at the end, and obviously PiLi's still desperately trying to find a way, some way, somehow. Victor really has like no production back at home either. PiLi could just clean up, but obviously it's not happening. And Archon trying to come through. Pros are going to pull in, but the upgrades are way too good. PiLi takes his hands off the keyboard, types out GG. We will get ourselves game number 3.
I love how Kichi is laughing there. I don't really know what I'm watching, and I don't think the players know what they ended up in here either. But I guess they are very evenly matched, and they're pushing each other to the limit. And we're gonna get game 3, Waddy. And I want to start a petition right now. Can we turn this into a best of 9? You know, just one time, please.
One time for best of 9. We'll have to ask you in the break. Game 3 coming up when we return.
Welcome back to the DreamHack StarCraft 2 Masters, where we are in our first of 4 best of 3s of the NA region. And the first one is delivering Waddy. This is everything that I hope for when I watch NA StarCraft. Where do we start after those first 2 games?
I guess we just start by going into game 3 and see what they're going to do this time, because it's just been utterly crazy here on the North American server. We kick it off, Roddy, in the top right with the red Terran player with the upgrades in the last game to see him through to victory. It is Future.
And in the bottom left side, we are looking at the main base of our Protoss player. Got so close to getting the job done in game 2. Instead, he's forced player in game 3. But he's still undefeated in the DreamHack StarCraft 2 Masters NA. It's PiLiPiLi. You know what really helped, by the way, in that last game? It was that drop. PiLiPiLi left 3 Stalkers in his main base to guard that drop all the time. But then while the big fight was taking place, the Stalkers moved out of position a little bit. It allowed the Marines to dive back in. And those Marines killed 3 Stalkers. They killed 3 or 4 Zealots. And they also killed a whole bunch of probes. And then that little medevac that was idling behind the Protoss main base, I think had a very big impact on how that game played out in the end.
Yeah, no, it kind of felt like it was the only medevac on the map at one point. And
It was.
Yeah, it actually came back to be really important because it did just throw Philly that little bit, and yeah, the little things definitely made the difference that time around.
So Future is opening up with an eBay block here in game 3. PiLiPiLi is just going to expand elsewhere by the looks of it. Or is he? He's taking a second assimilator, so I guess he's just going to take care of this with a Zealot, and then we're going to build a Depth or Stalker probably. Supply block, he's a bit thrown off. I feel like people often get a bit thrown off by the eBay block openings, and then all of a sudden the simple things don't work out anymore.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. CV puts a little bit more HP on it. As the side was about to finish up, Warp Gate will start right away, and yeah, definitely, I like it for Future. Change it up a little bit, throw Philly off, throw the timings. I think it's not a bad thing to be doing against anyone really, and especially when you mix it like during a series, and especially a series as crazy as this. Because if I'm PiLi right now, I've got no idea what's coming up next.
Nope. But if I'm Future, I'm also a tiny bit concerned. And I guess if you build a Nexus that quickly, did you see that? No. If you lose vision immediately. Well, do you think that Future is 100% sure that PiLi is not doing anything well at one base? Ooh, the SCV is going to dive back in. This is a big scout actually, man, because of the amount of gas that was being mined. This could have very well been some wild one-base Protoss all-in opening, but now Future knows that that's not the case.
Yep. Yeah, good bit of information there. Twilight Council is going to be finishing up in the end. He's going to well prepare. The Zealot will not do anything at the front. The fact is out. Very Nelly goes down. Reminds me a bit of that Zealot that ran out after those Marines in the bunker on the first on the other side of the map, but
that was a very brave Zealot.
It was, wasn't it?
Like, I'm meant to keep the main base safe, but I'll do more. I'll keep the front porch safe as well. It's like runs down the ramp. It's like, it'll be a tough fight, mate. So we've got a factory finishing up in the main base already for Future, as he's dropping a second barracks and a much quicker starport. Last game the starport was a little bit late, wasn't it?
Uh-huh. Yeah, the starport, we were kind of talking about it, you know, not being there right away, and it just felt like the starport in general last game was just never properly working. Like, it didn't have a reactor for like an abnormal amount of time. It's very rare you see one medevac building at a time after like the 4-minute marker, or the 5-minute marker I should say, but like last game it was like building one at a time for, you know, so long. It was crazy. And then the reactor died again.
Yeah, I mean, that just made things worse. But what also made me a little bit sad is this time we're going to get a tech lab on our starport, or he's just going to put it elsewhere. I'm not exactly sure. On the Romancer side, I also feel like the starport was obviously late because of the super weird and wild opening that we had. I kind of felt that if you know you have a late starport, then at least make sure there's a reactor ready for that starport. But then he just started building it, and that's why the medevac count was a little bit low on the Romancer side too.
Yep. Makes a lot of sense. Is this Raven on the way? We haven't seen a Raven all series though.
I haven't seen a Raven all day, mate.
That's actually really true, and that's kind of a rarity nowadays, isn't it? Yeah. We saw one Raven because all the turrets went down in a great place for Marine.
Gabe, yeah, Gabe on Lightshade had a Raven, but is that like the only Raven we saw all day?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I knew that we probably saw one. I just wanted to be dramatic about it. Jeez.
You know, I was gonna let you beat for once I actually remembered. So.
No, I was about to correct myself. I was like, I guess we saw one, and I was like, pretty sure Gabe had a Raven.
I wouldn't have remembered if the order turrets declares went in such a great place because you pointed out, you shouted about it.
Ah, thank you. It's making me look good over here. I love it. Well, speaking of great other turrets, Future is going to pick up another observer. I know it's a silly thing to compliment players on, but this is like one of my little pet peeves that I talk about a lot. Is that I feel there are certain Terran players that are world class and are not that great at spotting observers. But I felt like Future was super good in it so far in this entire series. Now this one obviously doesn't count because he has a Raven. But even without the Raven, I felt every single time there was an observer nearby, he saw it, he reacted to it, and he tried to kill it. And succeeded all but once.
Yep, a couple sentries coming through, picking off a Hellion. Still combat shields on the way. I mean, everything's just kind of building. I'm worried, Roddy, because this game.
Yeah,
feels
it's
almost
normal.
be
Like, what the hell? Yeah, I don't know. What are we
feel
doing?
Out of place.
I mean, as Big Gabe, why he's playing under the account of Future now, because this is normally how Gabe's games look. He's like, drives around with an Hellion, he's like, oh yeah, everything's going according to plan, and he drops an interference matrix, and he's like, I'm the spotter. Now let's see if Future can do the same thing as Gabe would normally do. There's a couple of Stalkers are a little bit out of position, and even with one Colossus, this is kind of a difficult hold, isn't it?
I mean, it's definitely with a difficult hold if that matrix goes down on the Colossus. You can buy a little bit of time. Force fields would have to be absolutely on point. And it's going to bit of the army and turn it around. Of course, medevacs aren't here yet, and that's the one thing the Future is probably a little afraid of, but he still has time to reinforce and maybe hit when there's only one Colossus, or at least even still, obviously, two.
Like Future's army just way better than PiLi's army at this point, or am I hallucinating? Am I drunk on Protoss again? Yeah, I feel like if we just go for the natural, Future throws down the scan, this army is gonna get revealed. Here is the interference matrix, and the rest of this Protoss army. It's really just not very. Oh no, he dropped it on the Stalker. What?
Yeah, that's not how it works. But he cancels the warp, and he's gonna find maybe the other Colossus. But the Colossus on the right is doing a lot of damage just on the back two units. Oh, I mean, okay, we complain about this game being old, but now it's anything but.
Good target fire on all the Stalkers there. He just killed all the Stalkers. So you can actually just pick up and get the hell out of there. I mean, this should have started off as a disaster, but it's still doing kind of good. And then you've got two absolute hero Marines in the back of the natural, both grabbing 3 probes. And the gateways are empowered, and the robotics bay is unpowered. Oh. I mean, maybe because he missed the interference matrix, he just decided to run into the main base, and he got even more damage done, Marty. He planned it. In this, by the way. Like, I know that I'm repeating myself, but I'm really impressed.
The Ghost Academy building now. Next step, apparently.
Where's the Stalker stuck, Whitey? Take a look at the Stalkers of PiLiPiLi. To the bottom observer. Oh no, he just blinked it out. He blinked to the low ground and then got stuck between the pillar and the minerals.
Is the Stalker ever really stuck if it has blinked though?
Yeah, if you don't pay attention to it, which I definitely wouldn't.
That's true. I guess usually it's on a hotkey, right?
True. So then if you blink, it's still going to be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a great attack. No, it's okay. Still a great attack, but obviously, memes aside, if he just drops the interference matrix on that army, I think he steams forward, he kills the overcharged battery, and he wipes the floor with the rest of that army, right?
Yeah. I think... I honestly don't know. I feel like anything was going to work there because his army was just so much better. It felt like it should have been bad when he missed the Matrix, but then, yeah, he made it work. Like, going up the ramp really did a lot for him. He got all of the Stalkers especially, and they're just so difficult to replace. And that's definitely going to affect PiLi, I think, coming into the next fight, which might be happening kind of soon. Plus, one only just now finishing up from Future. That's something he didn't pick up on early in the game. Maybe gave him a bit of a larger army than usual. So, yeah, you'll have that now, and we'll see if he can do something with Ghosts, Vikings, and his army's really just got everything all of a sudden.
Yep, it's a very advanced Terran army. Even before +1 is done, we already have Ghosts and Vikings. You don't see that super often. There is a Disruptor on the way, but Future doesn't want to wait for that. One Ghost does go down immediately. It is very important for these Vikings to get the job done. One Colossus falls, second one goes down too. One of the last 2 Colossi was fake, and Future now sees that with his scan. I think we got a little bit reckless there, but it still worked out, right? Because we took care of 2 of the 3 giraffes.
Yeah, I think if you get rid of the splash damage, it's always going to turn out to be okay for you because I still kind of like Future's army and the size of it, right? So now you've taken away some of the splash damage. There's 1 Colossus left. He scans the game, make sure he knows which one is real. The Vikings straight onto it. I mean, Super Crabby can't hop just yet. 60 pop now. Isn't going to go down. Disruptor gets killed. Yeah, there's the overcharge. I was going to say, it took a while though. It's not really too long. Because now these units just jump forward. They're going to get the battery. And, yeah, I mean, everything dies, right? Surely. No?
No, the Valerie bought some time for the extra zealots, few more zealots getting warped in, and PiLiPiLi, it's starting to look like a hold. I mean, it's not a convincing hold, and we still need we need a few more. Another Colossus shows up. 1 or 2 zealots is all we need, Marty, but we can't get our hands on those zealots.
Yeah, Zealots really make the difference here. Oh, that Colossus kind of has to come upwards before it moves to the right, but the Zealots do get in. They will block at the end. Probably just too much damage already done there, right? Should probably just continue this with reinforcements, because obviously that is a brand new Colossus, so it's going to take a lot longer for another Colossus to show up. He will kind of knock on in. Nice split away from the Widow Mine as well.
No, run back Colossus. Alright, this time it did not run back in time. And now we are replacing the Colossus with Archons, but I always feel like that's not exactly what you want to see. Especially not when your opponent already has a Ghost Academy. And we've seen a couple ghosts out on the map already.
Yeah. Rax continue to build, a couple of Vikings building up. I mean, Future's just going to get ready to go again. The fact he's already up to that 4th base behind us as well. He wasn't fully committed, right? He's got this backup plan. Going to continue with that, so good.
Yeah, it's fun to see that Future kept some of his trademark Future aggression and crazy Future moves, but he's definitely willing to transition a lot quicker than he was in the old days, right? Like Future used to just be 200 supply Marines, Marauders, let's go, but he's been adding in Ghosts super quick, adding in Vikings quickly, and then behind all of that, going up to 4 bases too. It's pretty impressive. It's just that I do think when we are in a good spot, we do want to keep the pressure on. I know it was a bit low on the buy units, and actually high on the medevac count. 6 ghosts at once, Marty. What the hell? You don't see that,
you don't see that one every day, do you? That's a lot of ghosts on the way up. Nice if you have people on track along the top side. Just gonna keep moving around. I mean, Billy gets the chance to stabilize. That means he's gonna get into a bit of a better spot again, I suppose. His upgrades are looking good. He's about to have that armor upgrade, so he'll be ahead in upgrade. Yeah, I mean, getting his army back. I guess the big thing is there's so much tech in the Terran army.
We had one disruptor out, but that disruptor got picked off. I think PiLiPiLi could absolutely still win this game if he can get up to, let's say, 4 or 5 disruptors. And at this point, we've got 0, so that seems like a very silly thing to say. Couple Zealots getting ahead of the party, but this is not the entire army of Future. Now we've got the 6 ghost reinforcements showing up. The EP is not actually really connecting with the Archons, so PiLiPiLi gets the best possible fight he ever could have, and I guess we're going to take the game from here.
Yeah, I guess we do. I mean, Future. This is the thing, right? Future is very much so that 2 basic kind of player that we've seen in the past, a very aggressive player. So when he gets these kind of armies, he kind of, you know, it's not where I imagine Future is the most comfortable. So there's definitely maybe room for errors and room for PiLiPiLi to move his way back into this.
Good news for Future is that at least all 4 Widow Mines survive, but Widow Mine's not that important anymore. Losing all these Vikings, I feel like it's something that's very problematic, because the Colossus count is back up to 3, and now PiLiPiLi is even trying to go up to 5 bases by taking this base in the bottom right side. Seems like Future is going to scout that with a couple Vikings. And that was just a silly fight, right, by Future to take, because it wasn't with his entire army, it wasn't with all 6 ghosts, it was only like 3 of them, but then he wasn't quite there, so he kind of dropped the panic EMPs, and they definitely didn't connect with the units that they were supposed to be connecting with.
Just going to be seeing this army from Pili continue through the center. Definitely looking to be dangerous here. Find the right place, but maybe not if he's coated in EMPs. Loses the shields on most of his zealots, and now Future kind of wants to fight, which might mean running up the rapid is going to be a little bit dangerous. Running up here, Zod's going to start charging through another couple of EMPs going down. And the back and forth here is just a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, I do feel if we drop that many EMPs in the army, we should maybe chase, no? Be a little more confident, but I guess the Viking count wasn't quite there. So Future immediately picks up a couple of units, and he's going to try to pounce on this newly established 5th base. PiLiPiLi does have a recall. No, he doesn't have recall. Wait, what did he activate then? He has no recall? When did he recall?
I'm not sure.
Probes, maybe?
Yeah, I didn't see anything in particular recalling, so, you know, just missed it.
Oh no, I said battery overcharge. I don't know. Yeah, I guess he used battery overcharge too.
Oh.
I'm confusing the symbols. Yeah, I guess he used battery overcharge to heal up the Archons again?
Yeah, I assume so.
That's kind of cool.
Well, at least we're not completely crazy. At least we're not making recalls up in our head.
The army's getting really close to each other again, and yeah, all these Archons with all their shields back, Widow Mines killing the Vikings there. But Terran's army's still pretty good, but I don't know, this is not the place to fight though for Future. Fighting in range of batteries again and losing the Vikings the way he did. Is this game slowly but steady starting to slip away?
I think it might be. I mean, look at what PiLi's got left over after this. A 40 army supply lead. He's currently killing the Stalker to try and get rid of Widow Mines. It feels like it's in PiLi's control. PiLi's also wanted a bit more money still to spend as well. I feel like Future just doesn't have much left. It's kind of scrappy what he does have, and look what PiLi's pushing with.
Wow, only a single medevac. There is no energy on this medevac. It has like 10 HP. I mean, that planetary fortress is super dead. As the Nova also connect. Future steps forward again. Does grab one Colossus, and hopefully that buys him some time. And he just needs to get an army, but he's still fighting with no army. Like, he's fighting with a couple of Marauders, what he'd have been fighting 3 back-to-back wars.
Yeah, everything is just such low HP. These Stalkers continue through the Colossi as well, going after a couple of these Widow Mines. PiLi's just got too much here, and Future just doesn't look like he's going to be able to hold on.
Nope. Even if this is a planetary fortress, it is not going to be enough. What? What? Can you believe that PiLiPiLi, when all he had left was like 3 Zealots and a Colossus?